Hey everyone, welcome to this week's conversation with Dr. Stephen Nedd about the body and how to fix, protect, or maintain it using outside-the-box alternative solutions. If you're a big fan of the pharmaceutical or surgical approach, you are so in the wrong place, because on this podcast, we're not going to be pushing the conventional medicine methods or way of thinking about health. If you're looking for another way to live longer and healthier, join me, Ron Nedd, and my brother Dr. Stephen Nedd for this week's body chat about non-toxic personal care products and home cleaning products. Me? I'm a retired Twin Cities chiropractor currently helping people buy and sell homes in the Tampa Bay and Los Angeles areas. My brother has a thriving chiropractic practice in the Clearwater area of Tampa Bay, Florida. In this podcast, we're going to chat about all sorts of topics related to health, nutrition, exercise, just about everything having to do with the body. You're invited to listen in to our body chat, but don't forget that neither of us is giving you health advice, so don't rush off to do something without either checking with your doctor first or seeing Dr. Stephen Nedd as a patient at his office. Good afternoon, Steve.
Good evening, Ron.
So what's the weather like out there? Now, last time it was pouring.
The storm passed us, and it's beautiful out, actually.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, we're not going to spend a lot of time on chit chat because I know you've got Game 7 with the Cavaliers tonight, so you probably don't want me to stall or run over very long. Of course, this could be the episode where I have lots of things to say.
Well, we'll edit it out.
Well, that won't change how long it'll take tonight, though. It'll just change how long it ends up being when it's finished.
Oh, geez.
So let's see. How long do I want to torture you before I get into the questions? That's probably long enough.
Thank you.
So now we discussed how aluminum was in some personal care products on episode number 23, which had to do with toxicity and detoxifying. So could you briefly just go over what products it's often found in and why that isn't good?
Sure. Before I do that, there's one point that I didn't make in the podcast on heavy metals where I talked about aluminum, and I wanted to go over that right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that is because aluminum is present in soil, most of the aluminum exposure comes from foods we eat and the water that we drink.
Okay.
But as far as personal products, they're commonly found in antiperspirants, deodorants that include the word natural deodorant in stones and crystals,
Mm-hmm.
toothpastes, nasal sprays, and cosmetics that include makeup, acne cream, hair remover, and hand lotion. And then as far as a buildup of aluminum, whether it's absorbed from food, water, drugs, or through the skin, it can cause major problems in the body if it builds up over time. Acute exposure is real rare. But it's been associated with Alzheimer's disease, autism, breast cancer, dementia, Parkinson's disease, tooth cavities, anemia, Lou Gehrig's disease, and fatty disease of the liver and kidney.
Okay, so those would be reasons why it wouldn't be good to have them in the personal products that you're using.
Exactly.
Now, what are some of the other most commonly found toxic or unhealthy chemicals that are commonly found in personal care products?
All right, well, I'm just going to name these and then go into more detail about them in a minute. And there's 12.
Okay.
So they include 1,4-dioxane, parabens, phthalates, and that's PHTHALATES, but it's pronounced phthalates.
Mm-hmm.
MIT, which is not Massachusetts Institute of Technology. It's a really long word, and I'm just going to call it MIT.
Okay.
Toluene, triclosan, sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium laureth sulfate, and ammonium lauryl sulfate, propylene glycol, formaldehyde, oxybenzone, siloxane, and lead.
Yes, some of those sound really familiar from years ago working with a company that had personal care products. I remember sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium laureth sulfate. Propylene glycol was another one that was really common, and people will find them in shampoos and a lot of hair products, and all of those things were problems. And so what are the issues that are caused by a lot of those ingredients?
Well, I got much of this information from an article that Dr. Joseph Mercola published directly on his website that included data from the Environmental Working Group, who we will reference quite a bit throughout this podcast.
Okay.
So let's start with 1,4-dioxane. This is a byproduct of the cancer-causing petrochemical ethylene oxide, and it's toxic to the kidneys, nerves, brain, and lungs.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually found in natural and organic brand shampoos, body washes, and lotions.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Now you're going to have a list of these, the list of the 12 that we can put as an attachment or a link in the podcast notes, right?
Oh, for sure.
Good.
All right, so then let's move on to parabens. There's actually 4 types of parabens. There's methyl, ethyl, propyl, and isobutyl, with the last 2 being the worst.
Okay.
And these have been found to mimic the hormone estrogen and stimulate the growth of human breast tumors. Not good.
No.
So these chemicals are typically found in deodorants and antiperspirants, shampoos and conditioners, spray tans, lotions and sunscreens, makeup and other cosmetics, pharmaceutical drugs, and food additives.
Okay. So it's in all of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, phthalates. There are at least 6 of these in various products, and 2 of them are extremely toxic. They've been linked to birth defects in boys, lower sperm motility in adult men, testicle shrinkage or structural abnormality, and liver cancer. They, in particular, really affect men.
All right. So these are ones in particular that the men listening to this should be aware of, or the women in their lives should be looking for.
Yeah.
I mean, not looking for to get them unless the last name is Bobbitt. They're looking to avoid.
Oh my God. Okay. They're found in plastic materials like PVC, which stands for polyvinyl chloride, toys, shower curtains, and vinyl flooring. And they're also in household cleaners, cosmetics, and personal care products, amongst other things like tap water and also various types of medical equipment.
I don't know that the vinyl flooring and the shower curtains are as much of a concern. I mean, they shouldn't be in there, but you're not going to get as much in your system from that as you would from the personal care products.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to MIT. This is detrimental to the brain and nervous system, and it is found in shampoos to prevent bacteria from forming. And then toluene. This is toxic to the nervous system, causing impaired breathing and nausea. And exposure over time can lead to anemia, liver or kidney damage, fetal development problems, multiple sclerosis, and cancer.
Wow.
And it's found typically in synthetic fragrances, solvents, paint thinners, cleaning products, as well as paints, fingernail polish, adhesives, and rubber.
Wasn't this one of 2 chemicals you brought up in a previous episode?
Yeah, that was toluene and xylene were the 2 that were associated with that patient that had multiple sclerosis.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next on the list is triclosan, which has been used since 1972 and is commonly found in soaps as an antibacterial agent. And it's also found in toothpaste, deodorants, cosmetics, clothing, and toys. And the problem with this chemical is that it's linked to heart disease and heart failure, muscle problems, and hormone problems.
I think I remember some either toothpaste or mouthwash, and they had an advertising campaign and they were talking about triclosan.
Yeah. And the really bad thing about this today is that it's now found in rivers, contaminating them, as well as streams and sewage sludge used in agricultural fields.
Okay.
Yeah. So now the ones that are in the hair care products we talked about a second ago, sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium laureth sulfate, ammonium lauryl sulfate. What they are cleansing and foaming agents that you find in shampoos and other hair products, but they're also found in toothpaste, soaps, and laundry detergents.
Okay.
Yeah, and the problem with them is they've been found to irritate the skin and eyes and cause toxicity throughout the body and even potentially causing cancer.
Yes, if I remember correctly, one of the things is that they are a sudsing agent, and people like to have, they use the shampoo and want all these suds when that's not really necessary for cleaning it. It's more of something that a person thinks that they're supposed to have. So the sudsing agent isn't necessary for getting things clean.
Right. Okay, let's get on to propylene glycol. And this is primarily used as a skin conditioning agent and is found in many products, including fragrant oils, cosmetic moisturizers, and shampoos. And the problem with this is it's been found to cause allergies, reduce cell growth, and kidney and liver problems.
Wow.
Yeah. That one is often found in deodorants, and we're going to talk about deodorants in a little bit.
Okay.
So a lot of them advertise no propylene glycol.
Interesting.
Yeah. Now, formaldehyde. This is primarily used as a preservative in personal care products to prevent bacterial growth.
Mm-hmm.
It's harmful to the immune system, can cause skin allergies, and is a known cancer-causing substance. So it's typically found in conditioners, shampoos, and makeup products such as eyeshadows and nail polishes. And it's used as a preservative for something else. Do you happen to remember?
Yes, dead bodies.
Yeah. Cadavers.
Yeah, just the thing you really want to have in your shampoo and deodorant.
Yeah. When we were in college in the cadaver lab, we called it the Caddy Shack.
Mm-hmm.
I actually wore my contacts in there my first semester, and I completely ruined them from the formaldehyde. They turned yellow.
Wow.
I mean, yeah, I look like Michael Jackson in the Thriller video. You know how he had yellow eyes?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I had to wear glasses from that point on.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Next up is oxybenzone. Now, we actually covered this in the sunburn episode, number 21.
Right.
Oxybenzone is found in 70% of sunscreens and is a hormone disruptor linked to reduced sperm count in men and endometriosis in women. Yeah. Then there's siloxane. This is a silicone-based chemical that is used to soften and moisten skin. But laboratory experiments have shown that high exposure to this chemical causes tumors, and it's especially dangerous for the reproductive and immune systems.
All right. And that was the last of the 12?
No, there's two more.
Oh, there are.
Well, actually, there's one more.
Okay.
Lead.
Mm.
And this is one of those substances that are used by most of the cosmetic manufacturers, but it's never listed on labels because it's not an ingredient, but rather it is a contaminant.
Interesting.
Yeah, so they can get away with that. It's unbelievable. As you know, it's a known cancer-causing agent, and it's usually found in lipsticks and hair dye products.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's very interesting. But the problem is there's no way of knowing whether it's in there or not.
That's right.
Yikes.
Yeah. Now, one more important point on this is that on the average, women use 12 personal care products a day. And that means exposure to approximately 168 toxic ingredients daily.
Wow.
I know. Amazing.
Well, now that you've gone over all of that, can you tell us what the best shampoos and hair care products are that avoid as many of these ingredients as possible, but they still get good results for people?
Yeah. As we get into the best products of each personal care product category, I'm just going to list a few of the many that are available.
Okay.
And the ultimate reference for all these products can be found on the Environmental Working Group website at ewg.org, as well as their incredible app, which you can download on your smartphone. Just search for and download EWG's Healthy Living. And it actually includes 3 ways of finding products. So I thought I'd go over that real quick to kind of hat people on how to do this.
Okay.
So first of all, you can type in the name of the product, and if it's one of the 128,000 items that they have on there, then you will get a complete health and toxicity analysis of it.
Okay.
And then the second way is you can also scan the item via its barcode or QR code.
Right.
And I actually did that earlier today on quite a few products that I'm going to talk about.
Okay, good.
Yeah. And then the third way is you can hit the browse button and it'll bring up 4 different categories, including sunscreens, cosmetics, and foods. And then the EWG verified category basically covers all personal care products.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is great.
It's incredible. Yeah. So all the products are listed from least to most toxic, and you will notice that commercial brands typically contain more toxins than the ones you probably never heard of, so they will usually be found at the bottom of the list, the commercial brands.
Okay.
And the products are rated overall on either a scale from 1 to 10, with 1 to 2 being low hazard, 3 to 6 moderate hazard, and 7 to 10 high hazard, or A through F like a report card score. Yeah. And then each of the various chemicals in the products are also rated on either of these scales, giving the product its total average overall score when you add them all up.
Wow.
Yeah. And most of the healthy products found at the top of the list can be found at your local health food store, including Nature's Food Patch next to my office, as well as Amazon and other healthcare product websites.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know. So no matter where somebody lives, they'll be able to get it either at their health food store or through Amazon.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, so with that said, 5 of the first 7 at the top of the list of shampoos are from a brand named Soap For Goodness Sake. which
Ah.
doubles as a soap and a shampoo.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Other shampoo brands that score extremely high are Attitude, The Big Green, and Clevos.
Okay.
And then the top shampoo brands for kids are Attitude and Babo Botanicals.
Now, there's one on here called Clean Kids Naturally.
Mm-hmm.
Is that one of the ones that...
Yeah, that one's good too.
Okay.
Yeah. And then there's other hair care products that you can find on the EWG database that include hair conditioners, dandruff and scalp treatment products, hair loss treatment products, hair sprays, hair gels, and hair color and bleaching products.
Okay. So this is a good resource for people. It's funny, I was looking through the list on the app on my phone, and I was reading this one, and I thought, couscous. It says couscous skincare, grapefruit, lemon, and cedarwood. And then I looked a little closer, and it's conscious, not couscous. I couldn't quite figure out how they would be using couscous in it.
Put your glasses on.
All right. So that's some of the best shampoos and hair care products. What about deodorants and antiperspirants?
Well, looking at the Environmental Working Group's database for deodorants and antiperspirants, the top brand was Purely Great, which has a variety of deodorants, some of which are actually a cream base. Yeah. And the reason they're rated so high is because they contain no ingredients that are harmful or toxic to the body. They score at 1 on the scale with no concerns for causing cancer, developmental and reproductive toxicity, or allergies and immune system toxicity.
Interesting.
Yeah. Tom's of Maine also scores well with some of its deodorants.
That's the one that I use.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
The apricot one.
Mm-hmm. And out of 908 products tested, none of the commercial brands scored in the top 100. The highest is Speed Stick by Men in Deodorant, the Must Scent, coming in at number 136 with a rating of 3, which is slightly moderately toxic. Yeah. And by the way, I have a confession to make. I've been using the same deodorant since college, and I thought it was fine because it contains no aluminum. That was the basis that I used it for.
Right.
However, it contains enough of other chemicals that it actually scored way down at the bottom of the list. Again, out of 908, mine tested at 901.
Wow.
Yeah. That's a high hazard score of 7. And it's Brood Classic 24-hour protection deodorant with Trimax. So since I found this out last night, I went to the store today and purchased not 1, but 2 new deodorants and threw mine out.
Wow.
So they happen to be Tom's of Maine Fresh Apricot, which is the one you have. That scored a 3 on EWG's rating system.
Mm-hmm.
And then I found another one. I can't believe this. I found this at the Walmart neighborhood store.
Yeah.
And this one's called Schmidt's Bergamot and Lime. These are essential citrus oils. Mm-hmm. Bergamot is a citrus. And they're likely even better than Tom's of Maine because it contains no propylene glycol, which is the first ingredient of Tom's of Maine, along with no aluminum or artificial fragrance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. I'll have to check that out.
So the one thing about the app is they don't have every product in there. So when I tried to scan this, it's probably a new product and they haven't looked at it yet. Nothing was in there. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Very good. So now that's deodorants and antiperspirants. What about other personal care products, things like cosmetics, baby products, that type of stuff? Are there any specific that you'd recommend, or do you still recommend people use the app?
Well, not to be lazy or punt on this one, but again, I recommend using the Environmental Working Group's database to check these out. But as a rule, I mean, you're more likely to find a non-toxic or less toxic cosmetic product or baby product at a health food store such as Whole Foods, Sprouts, Trader Joe's, or next door to my office at Nature's Food Patch.
By the way, did Sprouts open yet?
No, but there's one in Palm Harbor.
Yeah, I know that one's there. So the other one closer to you hasn't opened up yet.
No.
Is that July they're supposed to open?
They're not sure because I actually went to the one in Palm Harbor last night for the first time, and I was very impressed.
You liked it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of different stuff there. Whole Foods is a lot bigger. And Trader Joe's is Trader Joe's. But Sprouts gives you another alternative, and they have some cool stuff there.
I mean, I was really impressed with the quantity of excellent, healthy products, and they're very reasonable prices, too.
That's true.
Yeah.
Well, see that? Clearwater and Palm Harbor are joining the 21st century fully now.
That's right. So again, typically the big name product companies tend to score lower on the various lists with a few exceptions. So take the time to independently research each product that you purchase because you are the one ultimately responsible for what goes on or into your body along with other family members you're responsible for.
Right.
Also know that as a rule, you're going to pay a little more for each healthier, less toxic item. But in the long run, the old adage applies here, which is an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
Well, that's absolutely true because both you and I are no longer spring chickens. And the number of times I've been to see a doctor for something in the last 20 or 30 years has been maybe once or twice. I can't think of the last time that I've had anything really go on. And same thing with you. Mm-hmm. And we started out, when we were kids, we were taking vitamins and probably for the last 20 or 30 years have been eating pretty healthy in general.
Well, we just need to acknowledge our parents for instilling those values into us.
That's true.
So going back to my own products, I checked my toothpaste and it was a 4. My shampoo was a 5. Mm. My hairspray and body wash both tested at a 6. And my hair gel was a 7.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'll be looking, for replacements for most of these in the near future.
Wow. That's really good that you were able to find all that out on those.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you'll have to keep us all updated. Not that everybody really needs to know what you're using for all those things, but you can update us if you'd like to.
Yeah.
All right. So that's personal care products. Now we're going to do a slight shift and we're going to get into cleaning products because those also affect people because it'll get on their skin and they'll be inhaling fumes from it. So I want to take a look at what are the main problem ingredients that are found in cleaning products for the home and laundry.
Okay, well, I'd like to start out by recommending an article on the Environmental Working Group's website entitled Cleaning Supplies and Your Health. We should also give a link for this one in the podcast notes.
Yes, we should.
Yeah. So they investigated more than 2,000 cleaning supplies on the American market and found that many contained substances linked to serious health problems. Mm-hmm. And this article goes over their conclusions in detail. So 2 of the worst ingredients in cleaning products, according to the EWG, are ones we've already gone over. 1,4-dioxane and formaldehyde because they're linked to cancer.
Right.
Now, formaldehyde, along with ammonia and bleach, can also cause or worsen asthma. And that's something I didn't know that I learned this week during my research. And then borax and boric acid, which are found in laundry and dishwashing detergents, are linked to reproductive issues in men, including reduced sperm count, testicle shrinkage, and reduced libido. Plus, in women, reduced ovulation and fertility, as well as fetal development issues, including reduced skeletal development and birth weight. And by the way, they're also toxic to pets. So if you try using them as an insecticide, make sure to apply it away from your pets.
Okay.
And then there's fragrances. This one's really interesting because, first of all, they're not only used in cleaning products, but also air fresheners, personal care products, and other consumer goods that can set off respiratory allergies. Mm-hmm. In fact, fragrances are collectively considered among the top 5 allergens in the world.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So they can also trigger asthma attacks, like we went over earlier. And in addition, there was a study in 2009 which involved surveying everyday Americans' experience with fragranced cleaning supplies. Mm-hmm. And they found that nearly 1 in 5 suffered headaches, breathing difficulties, or other problems when exposed to air fresheners.
Wow.
Yeah. So while we're talking about fragrances, I wanted to add that last night was the first time, again, that I went to Sprouts. And while I was there, I was researching some of the personal care products and noticed that they had diapers and baby wipes that were especially made by the company 7th Generation. Mm-hmm. And they were advertised as being fragrance-free and chlorine bleach-free. Mm-hmm. So this information is definitely getting out to the manufacturers who are alert and have integrity on these issues.
Wow, that's very good. That's all very valuable information, especially for new parents or even not so new parents. Now, what home cleaning products are the best or at least have the least problem ingredients?
Okay, so if we're looking again at the Environmental Working Group's rating scale, the top cleaning products scored an A on the A through F score scale, meaning lowest concern with few or no known suspected hazards to the health or your health or the environment. Mm-hmm. And the ones scoring the lowest got an F, which means the highest concern with potentially significant hazards to your health or the environment, or they have poor ingredient disclosure. Sometimes they don't tell you all the ingredients in there. Yeah. So the best dishwashing liquid brands, and these all have scores of A, are Attitude, Ecomax, Sun and Earth, and The Honest Company. And there's only one tub and tile cleaner that's scored an A, and that's 7th generation tub and tile natural cleaner, Emerald, Cypress, and Fir scent. As far as commercial brands, Kaboom shower tub and tile cleaner scored a C, and then a D was given to Lysol mold and mildew blaster, and then Tilex tile and grout gel pen was given an F.
Wow.
Yeah. So, of course, you can also find out through the Environmental Working Group's products, the best air fresheners, disinfectants, general purpose cleaners, glass and window cleaners, floor care products, furniture products, and even pet stain removers and deodorizers.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. So then whoever is interested in really trying to keep as much of the toxic chemicals out of their life, out of their body, they can go to the site or they can use the app and they can start going through all of the things that they use, both personal products, which we went over, personal care products, and now the different types of home cleaning products. And then there's also laundry products. Now, what laundry products would you recommend and why would you recommend those?
Okay, so the top brands from the Environmental Working Group site are Attitude. Again, Attitude seems to be top of all these lists. Fit Organic, Lion Bear, Meliora, and again, 7th generation. They all scored an A. And basically all of the products by the commercial laundry detergent companies, Ajax, All, Cheer, Era, Fab, Gain, and especially Tide, all scored in the F category.
Wow.
Yeah. And believe it or not, this one really got me. Whole Foods brand detergents, they have 2 of them, also scored an F.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah, so Amazon better do something about that.
That's correct.
Yeah. So the one I use by Ecos, which they advertise as plant-derived and by a company called Earth Friendly Products, got an average score of C, which means moderate concern with some potential hazards to the health or the environment. So that one's kind of acceptable.
Okay. I can't remember whether I use Ecos or 7th generation. I'll have to go look.
Mm-hmm. Now, as far as bleach cleaners, there are several bleach cleaners that scored an A, including one by 7th generation again. Whole Foods and Sprouts each had one in the B category, along with the only commercial company, Purex, which had 2 products in the B category. Yeah. Clorox had quite a few products that range from C to F.
Mm-hmm.
And those of you who are big fans of OxyClean stain remover, I'm sorry to break it to you, but it scored a whopping F primarily due to, of all things, the colors and fragrance used in the product.
Oh, wow.
I know.
That's a shame because that product really does work.
It does. So I threw mine out today.
Okay.
So other laundry products you can find out more on the Environmental Working Group website or app include fabric softeners and anti-static wrinkle removers.
All right. Well, I'm going to probably have that app with me whenever I'm in the bathroom so I can look at all the various different products that are surrounding me. It's one of the few times where I would probably have time to look some of that stuff up. Yes. Was there any more as far as laundry products?
No, that's all.
Okay, good. All right. Well, this is all great. And now before we end, is there anything else you'd like to say about this topic?
Yeah, I'd like to make everyone aware of a bipartisan bill created by a Democratic senator and a Republican senator. Yes, they do occasionally get along.
Mm-hmm.
And this bill is designed to amend the outdated Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act passed in 1938 by the FDA.
Mm-hmm.
It was designed to ensure the safety of personal care products. And since that time, the United States has banned or partially banned only 30 ingredients for use in personal care products, whereas the European Union, by comparison, has banned 1,400.
Wow.
Yeah. So that means that the personal care products we use every day are manufactured adhering to the same laws that were put in place 80 years ago. And so the new bill is called the Personal Care Products Safety Act. And it was introduced in the Senate in May of 2017. And its purpose is to reform regulation of personal care products, requiring companies to ensure that their products are safe before marketing them and giving the FDA the tools it needs to protect the public.
Okay.
So unfortunately, personal care products are largely unregulated, and the FDA does not even have safety testing of ingredients in personal care products before they're used.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So companies are able to release products without really safety testing them?
Yep.
Okay.
That's right. So this act would give the FDA the power to review the safety of ingredients found in personal care products. For example, each year the agency would do a safety review of 5 ingredients and contaminants.
Mm-hmm.
And their first analysis would include checking formaldehyde-releasing chemicals and parabens, which we covered earlier.
Right.
Yeah. So we'll include a link to this much-needed legislation, and I simply ask you to review it and tell everyone you know about it. And it'll be very refreshing if it does pass, since it'll be a government action beneficial to the consumer.
Pretty rare.
Yeah.
But it would be good.
Yep.
Okay, good. So that covers the topic of non-toxic personal care products and cleaning products, which may not sound like the sexiest topic, but it's something that's going to have some dramatic effects on people's health if they don't pay attention to what they're using and what it can do to them. Next week, we're going to go into a topic which I know you're looking forward to and which you've brought up before, which is leaky gut syndrome and other digestive problems, whether it's the stomach or the large intestine or the small intestine, gallbladder, various different things like that are all associated. So that's going to be a fairly meaty topic, but it's important to understand because it has a lot to do with the person's overall health. So thanks for doing all the research, and I'm glad that you got to go to Sprouts as part of your research. And it was a very good topic this week.
It was very enlightening and very helpful.
Excellent. Thanks again, Steve.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Body Chat podcast. We both really appreciate your time and your attention. We want to provide you with interesting and informative episodes each week, and if you have a topic you'd like us to cover or any questions you'd like us to answer, send an email to us at info@bodychatpodcast.com. That's info@bodychatpodcast.com. To make sure you don't miss any of our upcoming episodes, subscribe to the Body Chat podcast now on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or Spotify. See you next week.